Hello, everyone, and we're back again today talking with William McKissock from Schooley Mitchell. William's been sharing with us some expense savings tips that he and the team at Schooley Mitchell find for businesses from small to mid to large size businesses. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you go and you look at the other videos that are here. There are several of them that we've been doing with lots and lots of information. If you're new to this, make sure that you like or subscribe to the channel so that you can continue to hear from William and the things that he can do for businesses of many shapes and sizes. So we're here today and we're going to be talking to William about a really interesting topic. And that is when he and his team at Schooley Mitchell come in and they save a customer of theirs, when they save a customer of theirs some monies, where does that money go? How can that money be reinvested back into their business, into their investors, into their teams, and so on and so forth? So I'm going to just kind of throw it to you, William, and let you give us just a brief introduction once again of what it is that you do at Schooley Mitchell, and then we'll jump into talking about the money that companies can use.
Yeah, well, thank you, Patty, again for giving me the opportunity to tell my story about what we do. For the viewers, we are North America's largest independent expense reduction consulting company. So we go into businesses and we look at their costs in specific areas. And those areas are telecom, credit card processing, shipping, waste, e-signature, utilities, and fuel. We have a team of staff dedicated for each one of those categories. And we look at your costs and we only charge fees if we find savings. There's only two outcomes of working with us, and we'll either confirm you have the best prices for free. We do the audit up front for free, or we save you money. And in an agreement, if we save you money and you accept our recommendations, our fees are a share of the savings that we found. So, I mean, literally, it doesn't cost any money to have us come and work with you because we find the money. A very quick overview of what that looks like. If I came to you and says, I want to work for you for $20,000 a year, I want to work for you for 3 years, but the deal is I have to go in and find a $40,000 savings, and I'm going to ask you to pay me $20,000 for the next 3 years, and I'm going to maintain those savings so you can pay me that $20,000. Does that sound like a good deal? I don't come with any employee costs. That's the only cost is let me save you money. So that's what we do.
I love that. That's fantastic. It's a great way to look at it and a great way to start our conversation with the return on investment that can happen with these monies. So what are some of the ways that you see companies using the money that you save them?
I mean, obviously, it's open to the organization. When we're prospecting, I mean, you can go as basic as say to the CEO, you could take your wife on a nice holiday with the money we saved you. You could invest in the private jet, or you could buy a private jet. Those are kind of the fun side of things, but the more serious side of things that businesses can use the money that they find. And because, again, I'll repeat some of the things that I've said before, that it's really hard to make money. You have to jump through hoops of fire. Some of it you can control, some of you can't, like legislation, pandemics, you've got no control over that. Well, legislation, it depends who you vote in, but largely as an ongoing business, you don't really have any control over that. But the hoops of fire that you have to jump through, you have some control over. Like sales, marketing, training, all those kind of things, getting more business in the door, you have control over that, but it costs money. So you have to invest time, money, effort, staff, and all of that costs money. So if we can save a business some money, they can reinvest some of that money back into sales, marketing, training their staff, getting more money in the door. So the profit that they're using to spend on costs, they can spend less of it and keep more profit. And then they can use that profit to invest back into the sales and the training, the marketing to make more money. It's a vicious circle in the nicest possible way where they can reinvest that money to make more money. They can buy more equipment. Because you and I talked before we started recording this, is that if staff have really poor equipment, they're going to perform poorly. Therefore, unhappy staff means unhappy customers. So simply having the right computer, the right technology invested in, and if you've got money that you've saved that you were otherwise given to your vendors and we brought back to the table, you can invest that back into your business, and you can invest that back into your staff. You can invest back into the staff's training, as I said, even not necessarily just for the sales part. It could be from a human resources side, because everything ties in. If the happy staff are trained properly, they can go out there and represent your company from every angle possible. I wrote a couple of notes. You could something you highlighted to me that sometimes I don't always think about. Depending on the size of the company, they could invest in dividends. So therefore, the business is more valuable. Therefore, more people want to invest in the business, and it's all just a nice big profit sharing circle. Again, that money can be used however you feel like, but literally it's money that's coming back into your business for the greater good of your business, whether that's an internal resource, which all reflects the external side of your business, that allows you to earn more money. So simple, it's a simple fact. It's really hard effort to earn money. And you're using that money to pay for services to run your business. If you can spend less of that money and keep it in your profit center, you can invest it back into all these areas that I talked about and make more profit. So the profit center just gets bigger because of our involvement in helping you to save money to invest in other areas. Or just put it in the bank and make it part of the business's profits, or pay your staff more money. And there's so many ways you can use the money that you're spending and giving to the shipping vendors, the telecom vendors, the credit card processing vendors, the waste vendors. If you can give them less money, that's money you can invest in all of these areas that I've just said.
So, one of the things that I'm thinking about as you're talking about this is going back to that first part, which was about sales and marketing. And when a company has, let's say, an extra $4,000 to spend on marketing, they can take that money and turn that into X amount of dollars then in sales, because we all know there's a return on the marketing. And that can certainly drive the bottom line for an organization.
Yeah, even at my level with my business, as I make more profits, as I say, more business is money, and I get my share of it, I make more profits. I simply just say, okay, I can take more of that money that I'm earning, and I can hire people to help market my business. And that the money I've made over there, I reinvest back into my business, and it makes me even more money over there, and then therefore I'm making more money. And that's the same for any business. You simply just reinvest that business into areas that makes you money. So the more money you have to invest in areas that makes you money, the more money you make. And the more money you can save to allow you to do that, the more money you make. It's not just about making profits. I did have a prospective client say to me one time, we don't have time to work for you right now because we're concentrating on our sales and marketing. That's our biggest drive right now. And I'm never rude to anybody, but I was thinking, are you stupid? Why are you not having some effort on the cost side of things? It's not cost segregation, but saving on those hard-earned profits. You're going to work really hard to earn that money. Why are you not having some time spent on the other side of it? And the reality is that the time we spend the time doing it for our clients, when we come and work for a client to help them save money, to invest it back into the business, whatever they want to do with it, the percentage of the time that the client needs in it is about 2% of their time. It's about 98% of our time. So it's a very small amount of time a business has to invest with us to allow us to do the work, to go and find them those savings, to allow them to reinvest that money back into the business, to buy more equipment, to invest in the private jet, take their staff on holiday, whatever they want to use that money for, retrain the sales staff, simply invest in more marketing, however they use that. All of that's all tied in.
And the neat thing about that is that as you guys have a long-term commitment with organizations. So as the company is able to reinvest that money back into other things that are going to turn into, greater revenue for an organization. And we all know it takes money to make money. But as an organization is able to reinvest that money back into their business, you all are sticking with them for what is it, 3 years?
Yes, we typically bill a client every 3 months. Because we continue looking at the billing statements, we continue bringing the knowledge of outside of their business back into the business. And I say outside of their business, what that means is that if you're one business, no matter how big you are, you're one client dealing with all the different vendors and the categories that we look at. We've got over 25,000 clients, so we keep that knowledge plugged into your business because we know what everybody else is paying. It's something your business just simply doesn't know. You don't know what the UPS rep just sold the same company down the road, and you've got no idea. So we keep bringing that information back into our clients. And the whole point of what we're talking about today about reinvesting the money back into your business, the value of having us stay on with you over that period of time, because if you're spending this and we get you to here and we're billing you half of that, your costs have came down. If you take your eye off the ball, those costs are going to creep back up again. And our value to the company is that we keep doing it. We keep auditing. We call it post-auditing. We keep doing that audit. So if you're going to reinvest that money that we've saved you to here and going to reinvest it in your business, we make sure it stays there. The cost doesn't creep up. So if you think, well, I'm going to invest a certain amount of money and you budget for that, I'm going to invest that money because I've saved this amount of money and now have that in my budget. If you concentrate on doing all this other stuff and you're not concentrating in this area, you don't have the knowledge that's going on outside of your business, those costs can creep up because it's not just about what other people are spending with the vendors outside your business. It's what's going on with those industries. And if we keep that plugged into you, it allows you to maintain those savings, to maintain your investment back into your business to make more profits.
Yeah. And, it's interesting you say that, William, because I was just reading how Federal Express is getting ready to raise its rates, and pretty substantially. So having somebody like you that's constantly on the lookout could be very beneficial to a business. And I think it's important that the businesses understand the benefit that you provide is not just saving them money in a one-time deal. It's saving them money over a period of time, as well as giving them the money to reinvest back in all those things that you mentioned in sales, marketing, human capital, compensation, reinvesting back into their investors, back into their business itself. I mean, there's so many ways that you can do it. And I think you did a really great job of communicating all of that.
Yeah, no, thank you, because it's so important that businesses understand that they might be fantastic at doing what they do, negotiating with FedEx. You mentioned FedEx there from the shipping side, whether it's FedEx or any of the categories you're negotiating with. We assume that they're already really good at it. I've already walked in the door expecting that client to have got the best deal possible. And prospective clients sometimes think, well, why would we need you? Because we've done a really good job. Look, we've got a great deal. 95% of the time we find more. But touching on that where it's rising, recently one of my clients, we just gave them, in fact, I'm about to send the quarterly post audit today, and some of the UPS rates have gone up, and we've been talking to UPS over the last couple of months, and that's ongoing, so that their next post audit report, hopefully we're going to have that increase brought back down again, or help to mitigate it in some way. And that's what we're doing in the background, and we're spending our time doing that. That's our job in the background, to help keep the client's costs down. Some things we can't control, but for the most part, we can help and we can get those costs down or get them back. Credit card processing is an example. And this has happened to a lot of my clients as well as other clients within the network, where they've raised the rates and we pick it up and we literally go on the blower to them, and we get it fixed and we get the money back. And that's an important aspect of what we're doing. Again, touching on this because it helps maintain those savings. And we're always looking for other deals out there, whether it's with your incumbent or whether it's with other I was going to say processors, but I was thinking of credit card processing, with other vendors that you're using. We're always looking for better deals. We're always looking for equal, better service for less money. And we bring it to our client's attention. And the cool thing about us is when we bring it to the client's attention, they don't have to do anything with it. Even right at the beginning when they signed up with us, if they don't like what we present, they don't pay us any money. We've only got their interests at heart, and all the way down to the wire where they can either decide to accept it or not. And if they don't accept it, we don't get paid, and that's the risk that we take. But it's the 100% proof that we're only in the client's corner. We've only got their interests at heart, hands down. Yeah. Nobody else's interests.
I think that's so interesting, William, because I love this topic of what companies can do reinvesting back in their businesses, in themselves, inside their organizations, and all the different pieces that they can do it in. And every time we talk, you bring up more subjects, and we already know what our next topic is, but I think that we could definitely do a session on what you find over time and how in those 7 different categories you continually find savings for organizations. I think that's something we're going to have to cover in a future topic. This is like one of my favorite parts, though, is when you share something interesting and fun about yourself, because you have such a unique background, and not just because it's multinational, but you're just a neat person. And I love when we talk about fun facts about you.
Yeah, a fun fact I'll share this week is, like, when I meet most Americans, and I network a lot, I'm out and about, and they'll always say, do you own a kilt? And for the most part, I've been saying no. And they give me that funny look. It's like, you're a Scotsman, you're supposed to own a kilt. The reality is when I get married, when I do all these things, I go to weddings and very exciting occasions, I always just rented a kilt. But 2 years ago, the last time I was in Scotland, 3 years ago, I went to my hometown in Scotland. Not only did I go to Scotland, but I went to my hometown in Scotland and I bought the whole outfit. So I do proudly now own a kilt. But the interesting thing is, if you see me in photographs from years ago, whenever I was wearing a kilt, I never actually owned that kilt, but now I do. And also to add to that interesting fact, my mother and my mother's side of the family, they're called Dunlops, and they've got some of the coolest tartans. So my mother passed in 2013. So as a thing to my mother, I wear my mother's tartan, and the one I've chosen is called an ancient Dunlop. It's a really cool tartan. So when I bought my tartan, I actually bought on my mother's side, not in my father's side.
Oh, that's really neat. What a nice tribute for her.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Well, I can't wait for us to get together and talk again next week. And as I said, we've already got our topic figured out. We're going to share some stories about additional savings that companies have found. And I'm fascinated to hear that. Once again, if you're tuning in for the first time, make sure you like or you subscribe to this channel. Go back and look at some of the previous videos and listen to what William can do for your company and for your organization. And just keep in mind as you're doing that, that all of his services are complimentary up to the point where they start really finding you savings and you agree to sign on with them. And this becomes then a long-term initiative to save you and your organization some money. So I look so forward to talking with you again, William, and I can't wait to hear more about what it is that your company can do. And I really liked our topic this week and talking about how companies can save money and then what they can do with that money, because it just becomes kind of found money that you've got out there. And I just think that that is such a neat thing to have for an organization. So I'm going to throw it to Tanya for traffic and wish everyone well.